The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 22 to 23. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? These two verses in the book of Matthew are referring to our spiritual eye, buried deep within our minds, and concerns our ability to distinguish good from evil. It is said by some researchers that our pineal gland is a biological antenna or portal, which allows us to tap into the spiritual realm. It is also believed that through it, our spirit or consciousness enters the body at conception or birth and leaves it at death. These 2 points in time being marked by massive DMT releases by the pineal gland. In the ancient Assyrian reliefs, you can see cherubim holding pine cones in their hands and raising it to the head of a man or ruler. Upon dissection of the human brain, it is revealed that the pineal gland resembles a pine cone. All knowledge is not good knowledge. We can choose to enlighten ourselves with knowledge of things that bring health and build strong bonds between families, communities, and nations, or we can also choose to darken our minds with knowledge or the misuse of knowledge, becoming selfish, hateful, and destructive. The knowledge the Nahash offered in the Garden of Eden was the knowledge of evil, and to know evil is to experience it in all of its forms. Adam and Hawa, who were made in the image of Elohim, had not known anything but good, becoming fully aware of it once they had eaten the forbidden fruit. It was their first experience with evil. The book of Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. And the Nahash was more crafty than all the lives of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he had said to the woman, Is it true that Elohim said, Do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the Nahash, We are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree that which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. And the Nahash said to the woman, You shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. Take notice of the image on your screen. The 2 sovereigns have gathered near a sacred tree, accompanied by 2 cherubim holding pine cones. The pine cone is the fruit of the pine tree and represents sacred knowledge, or perhaps forbidden knowledge. This points back to the Garden of Eden and the Nahash, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The book of Thessalonican Bet, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. As to the coming of our Master Yahushua Messiah and our gathering together to him, we ask you, brothers, not to become easily unsettled in mind or troubled, either by spirit or by word or by letter, as if from us, as if the day of Yahuwah has come. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim or that is worshipped, so that he sits as Elohim in the dwelling place of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Do you not remember that I told you this while I was still with you? And now you know what restrains for him to be revealed in his time. For the secret of lawlessness is already at work, only until he who now restrains comes out of the midst. And then the lawless one shall be revealed, whom the master shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and bring to naught with the manifestation of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power and signs and wonder of falsehood, and with all deceit of unrighteousness in those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth in order for them to be saved. And for this reason, Elohim sends them a working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood, in order that all should be judged who did not believe the truth, but have delighted in the unrighteousness. Edward Bernays, Propaganda, page 166. The American motion picture is the greatest unconscious carrier of propaganda in the world today. It is a great distributor for ideas and opinions. The motion picture can standardize the ideas and habits of a nation. This video will explore and expose the beast system symbology in popular culture. In my White Jesus video series, I showed how Ishtar was connected to the eight-pointed star, the sacred Hulupu tree, also known as the world tree or tree of knowledge, the lion, and the caduceus, an ancient wooden staff with one or two snakes coiled around it in a helix or figure eight pattern. Modern personifications of Ishtar include Katy Perry, who rode a giant beast during her Super Bowl performance, the Marvel comic book characters Wonder Woman, who has an eight-pointed star on her tiara, and Captain Marvel, who wears an eight-pointed star on her chest. Whether you call it a helix, figure eight, or infinity symbol, it is a symbol that is connected with the serpent and the beast system and is used in the context of being a stargate or biological portal, as you will see in the next several video clips. The Book of Marcus, Mark, chapter 5, verses 8 through 12. For he said to him, Come out of the man, unclean spirit. And he said to him, What is your name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, because we are many. And he begged him very much that he would not send him out of the country. Now a great herd of pigs was there, feeding near the mountains. All the demons begged him, saying, Send us to the pigs, so that we may enter into them. M. Night Shyamalan's movie Split features a character, Kevin Wendell Crumb, who suffers from dissociative identity disorder, DID. Within Kevin's mind are 23 distinct identities, collectively known as the Horde, which fight for control of the light, a metaphor for possession of Kevin's consciousness and body. In the movie Split, a hidden identity emerges. This mysterious 24th identity is known as the Beast.
You wrote about a woman in Germany who'd been blind for 10 years. And then it was discovered that she had DID. Then 3 of her identities developed sight. And you speculated that her optical nerves regenerated because of her beliefs.
What are you trying to say?
There are things, Dr. Fletcher, that all of us would find hard to believe.
Are you trying to tell me there's a 24th identity?
You protect the broken. When you said that you thought this situation was extraordinary, I knew you could maybe understand.
Understand what?
The beast is real. He's just emerged. You were right about everything.
What does he look like?
He's much bigger than I am. And I'm the biggest of all of us. He's tall. He's very muscular. He's got a long mane of hair, and his fingers are twice the length of ours. He believes we are extraordinary. That we don't represent a mistake, but our potential. You say the same things. He's on the move.
What does that mean? I don't understand. He can't be real. There must be limits to what a human being can become. And there's another whole part of the story, isn't there? About the eating of the impure young. What does impure even mean?
Well, we should discuss that so that you can understand fully.
Understand what?
Sometimes, there's just no other way.
Who are you going to meet?
Him.
You know what? I would love to take notes on all of this. We should probably discuss this in a proper session tomorrow.
Really? You okay with this?
This has been so wonderful, you being so open. I can see that you feel very empowered by the philosophies of the beast. I'm going to go now.
In the Tron-themed 2016 LG OLED TV Super Bowl commercial starring Liam Neeson and his son Michael, also produced and directed by father and son team Ridley Scott and Jake Scott, we are taken inside a bar where Liam's character from the future approaches a younger version of himself. You can see an ouroboros tattoo on the back of his hand as he shuffles through a deck of cards. Taking one out and slapping it up against the glass like a David Blaine magic trick, we can briefly see that the card is the 8 of clubs. On the back side of the card, an ouroboros appears and transforms into a portal, taking the young man on a journey. He then returns to the bar and asks the man who he is. He replies, "You already know." As he reaches to grab his suitcase, you can see an ouroboros present on the backside of his hand.
There is a revolution coming.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
The future is staring back at us like a perfect picture on glass. And this future, it must be protected.
What's it got to do with me?
Look,
What is it?
it will change everything. That's why they want to stop it. They will come after you without cease. Because the future belongs to us. LG OLED. Perfect picture on glass.
Who are you?
Oh, come now. I've already told you. The future is staring back at you. LG OLED.
Similar to the LG commercial starring Liam Neeson, where he had an ouroboros tattoo on the backside of his left hand, signifying the left-handed path, the 8 of clubs playing card with the ouroboros, and the portal. In the film Annihilation starring Natalie Portman, she has an ouroboros tattoo in the shape of a figure 8 on her left arm. During the film, she journeys to a lighthouse to find the source of what they call the shimmer. There she encounters an alien force which takes possession of her body through genetic manipulation.
The mutations were subtle at first, more extreme as we grew closer to the lighthouse. Corruptions of form, duplicates of form.
Duplicates.
Echoes.
Is it possible these were hallucinations?
I wondered that myself, but they were shared among all of us. It was dreamlike.
Nightmarish.
Not always. Sometimes it was beautiful. You hurt? It's just a bruise. Must have gotten that from the gator.
Yeah.
It wasn't destroying. It was changing everything. It was making something new.
Making what?
I don't know. You aren't Kane, are you?
I don't think so. Are you Lena?
Once again, we are presented with another ouroboros tattoo in a figure 8 pattern in Netflix's sci-fi series, Altered Carbon. In this futuristic series, people can virtually live forever by taking possession of a new body through a device called a cortical stack. This device works as a biological portal, storing human consciousness and transferring it from body to body.
that nothing is what it seems. Ignore your assumptions. Don't trust anything. What you see, what you hear, what people tell you, what you think you remember. Your body is not who you are. You shed it like a snake sheds its skin. Leave it forgotten behind you.
The only way you'll learn is by watching, so watch.
I didn't cover this in the basic briefing.
You'll be fine. They can barely walk at first, you'll have to pull them out.
I'm gonna get this shit all over me.
You'll get used to it. Just to can him. We got 4 more to do in the next hour.
Which way's the shower?
This is a cortical stack. As protectorate citizens, we each have one, implanted when we are 1 year old. Inside is pure human mind, coded and stored as DHF, digital human freight. Your consciousness can be downloaded into any stack in any sleeve. You can even needle cast in minutes to a sleeve anywhere in the settled worlds. A sleeve is replaceable, but if your stack is destroyed, you die. There's no coming back from real death.
The warden wants to see you.
So, avoid blunt force trauma to the base of the brain and energy weapons fired at the head.
Have you ever wondered why the UFC chose the shape of an octagon for its fighting surface? An octagon has 8 sides, and in the occult world it represents a portal or stargate from which spiritual entities can be summoned into our plane of existence. The UFC had previously used a gladiator theme to open its shows. The octagon in this case acting as a portal to resurrect the ritual combat of the Roman gladiator era.
I'm gonna use my striking skills to open up his game and end this fight in surprising fashion like never seen before.
Tonight isn't just about beating Diego Nunez. It's about sending a message to the featherweight division that I'm the #1 contender, and I'm coming for that belt.
This fight is about power versus power. Somebody's gonna get knocked out, and it's not gonna be me.
If Shane wants to stand up, I'm gonna knock him out. If he wants to go to the ground, I'm gonna submit him.
All 12 of my wins have come in the first round. Tonight, Junior becomes lucky 13.
With the eyes and conscious energy of the audience focused downward towards the metal cage of the octagon, as if it were designed to collect our subtle conscious energies in a ritual to open a gateway from which the beast of the bottomless pit can enter. I'm not sure if Monster Energy is the UFC's largest sponsor or not. However, the logo is in the dead center of the octagon and resembles 3 stylized Hebrew vase in green. Considering that Monster Energy's motto is Unleash the Beast, and that its logo resembles 3 Hebrew vase, each having a value of 6, and that it sits in the center of a cage in the shape of an octagon representing a spiritual portal or stargate, and within that cage, ritual combat where blood is spilled takes place, I would say at the very least that it is disturbing.
We're not here to take part, we're here to take over. I am the beast.
Conor McGregor has been the UFC's biggest star. Debuting on April 6, 2013, he quickly rose the featherweight rankings, earning the interim featherweight championship belt, defeating Chad Mendes. In 2015, at UFC 194, Conor McGregor faced Jose Aldo. The outspoken McGregor had predicted a first-round knockout over Aldo. The fight lasted just 13 seconds, cementing his moniker Mystic Mac. He would go on to become a two-division champ, then putting his MMA career on hold to do a crossover fight against Floyd Mayweather. At the press conference, he wore an ugly fur coat with a bearded serpent on it. News articles began to appear noting Conor's occult philosophies and connecting him with Aleister Crowley, a deceased occultist who had been popular among celebrities. Conor McGregor has been recorded on several occasions making occultic hand signs, the most notable of which, the Yoni hand sign, which represents feminine energy or being reborn, as in an initiation ritual. During an interview with Mike Hill, Conor is seen looking off camera, perhaps to his handler, then awkwardly making the occultic hand sign, then quickly placing his arms back on the armrest. You can tell that he is a neophyte by how contrived and awkward his movements were. Later in the interview, he tries again, looking more composed.
UFC 189 is right around the corner. Mike Hill with you for another edition of Fighting Words with the headliners, featherweight contender Conor McGregor and the champion Jose Aldo and his translator Lillian. And I had to sit here to separate these two guys because they do not like one another. That's very obvious. But Conor, let's start off with you because last time you were in the Octagon, you were on this very network. You ran up and yelled at Jose immediately after the fight and that win, and you've since thrown darts at his face, ripped up his photo during a press tour in Brazil. Why are you so angry at the champ?
I am not angry. There is no emotion in this game. It is cold, calm, calculated, and ruthless. I feel no emotion towards him, good or bad. It is simply business.
From the outside looking in, it just appears that you do dislike him. Is that just only because he's the next guy up?
I don't really care what the outside feel. I know what I feel, and I feel blank. His face is blank to me.
All right. Conor talks a lot, Jose. He backs up his words as well. But you seem very calm, very collected. You were just seen playing ping pong, as a matter of fact. Well, how do you not allow his words to get to you?
Let's watch that a second time. Pay attention to Conor's hands and how awkward he looks as he looks off camera to make the Yoni hand sign. You can see that his movements are very contrived. He looks here to the left. He's making the sign. He's fidgeting around. And then he'll place his arms back on the armrest here in a moment. One more time. In this next one, he'll look more composed. Let's take a look.
Conor talks a lot, Jose. He backs up his words as well. But you seem very calm, very collected. You were just seen playing ping pong, as a matter of fact. Well, how do you not allow his words to get to you? He backs up his words as well. But you seem very calm, very collected. You were just seen playing ping pong, as a matter of fact. Well,
I love Brazil, and Brazil loves me. Make no mistake, Brazil loves me, yeah?
How would you versus Jesus in the Octagon, how would he fare?
Me versus Jesus in the Octagon.
Welcome to TMZ.
How would me versus Jesus in the Octagon? I'll tell you what, there's not a man alive that can beat me. But Jesus ain't alive, is he? So I don't know. Maybe he could come back from the dead. I don't know. I'd still whoop his ass.
The B system, ouroboros symbology, has been incorporated into many Hollywood sci-fi films, such as the ouroboros-shaped spaceships in the movies Prometheus and Marvel's Infinity Wars. Also in the movie Arrival, the aliens communicated in a written language that looked like a bunch of ouroboroses. In popular culture, the apple with a bite taken out of it has been used to represent the forbidden fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The image also connects you to the serpent. It is interesting that Apple Computer's logo design has an apple with a bite taken out of it, the diameter of the circle used to create the bite mark being that of 8. We have been sold the idea that technology will liberate us, but there is a dark side to technology, and evil men will use it to control and enslave mankind, in a scenario far worse than that imagined in George Orwell's 1984.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives we have created for the first time in all history a garden of pure ideology where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests, obeying contradictory thoughts. Our unification as a force is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people. One will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Introducing the first laptop built for music. Only HP has Beats audio inside. It's the laptop remastered.
The Book of Hazon, Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. And he causes all, both small and great, and rich and poor, and free and slave, to be given a mark upon the right hand or upon their foreheads, and that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
I can't believe he just paid with his hand. Like, you just literally put your hand up, and you're good to go. Like, that's crazy.
Hi, my name is Charlie Warzel. I'm a senior writer with BuzzFeed News. And in order to see what the future of money looks like, I decided to live for a month just paying for things with my phone. And somewhere along the line, I ended up getting a microchip implanted inside my hand to see if I could be the first person in the world to pay for something out in the real world using just their hand. I basically wanted to try to download as many apps onto my phone as possible and make sure that I could use alternative currencies and try to skirt cash or credit cards any way possible.
You're using your phone as a payment method. We call that a proximity mobile payment.
And we estimate that by the end of 2016, U.S. adults will spend $27 billion using their phone at the point of sale. But you look at that in the context in card volumes, I mean, that's a pretty small drop in the bucket.
Hey there. Do you guys accept Apple Pay or any of like the card reader things for your phone? You can't buy anything here, right? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. When you're only using your phone to pay for things, you find that you're sort of pushed to two extremes. Really big chain stores or really small, niche, kind of overpriced coffee shops and places like that. A couple weeks into my experiment, I ended up going to Sweden. Sweden happens to be way far ahead of the United States when it comes to getting rid of cash. I ended up meeting with some people who are really active in the biohacking community and found that you could actually implant an RFID NFC chip in your hand.
So take a deep breath for me and exhale.
And so I figured if I could put it in my hand, maybe I'd be able to pay for something with my hand.
That was it. Breathe.
Yeah.
Keep breathing.
How's it feel? It's like pinchy. It definitely hurt like way more than they said it was going to. It looks sort of like a grain of rice or like a pill that's in my hand.
But I think the idea of using a microchip implant in one's hand to be able to make a payment, I do question the mainstream application of it, but I really think there might be other ways where that might come to fruition, not necessarily through like a surgical implant, but through other kind of integrations with the body.
So once everything healed, I decided that I needed to start focusing on how to make this chip work. And I really wanted to become the first person to ever pay for a meal at a restaurant with their hand. Eventually, I stumbled across a Venmo engineer who said that he could help me with my task. What they decided is that they would put my Venmo unique user ID onto my chip, which would basically make it so that any phone would recognize my hand as a Venmo app.
You're gonna write your secret token for Venmo, and you're gonna go up there, they're gonna scan your hand, put how much we owe, that's it.
Takes a second. Here we go.
So you're good to go.
That was so sick, dude. That was sick. Yes! That was gnarly. That was insane.
We actually accomplished what we set out to do, and I kind of couldn't believe that it was ever going to happen. Like, I thought I got this thing jammed in my hand for nothing. My hand is paying for everything today. If the wallet is here, and your phone is sort of a healthy middle ground, something like the chip felt to me like the furthest possible extreme of, futuristic technology.
The challenge with mobile payments is that, especially in the US, it's so easy to use cards.
After doing this experiment, I would bet that in about 10 years, it's kind of abnormal to carry around a wallet that's just stuffed full of cash.
That's insane. Paying with the hands. What's next? Paying with the foot?
The Book of Hazon, Revelation, chapter 17, verse 11. And the beast that was and is not is himself also the eighth, and is of the seven, and goes to destruction. It is the synagogue of Satan, of the Book of Hazon, Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9, and chapter 3, verse 9, that say that they are Jews, but are not, but lie, which are in control of the media and propaganda that elevates themselves while demonizing us.
Will prevail. That's the ways of the devil. All will prevail. Goodness will prevail. White devil established himself by raping, murdering, robbing people of their land. God hates the white devil. True, brother. He's the illegal immigrant. You, sir, you have the sign of the beast around your neck like a hangman's noose. God and righteousness will prevail. The original man will rise. He will rise again. That's the ways of the devil.
Yo, Invisible. What's up, Ali? Yo, you going by the course today? Yo, this dude got the ill baby sky hook, like magic.
I'm gonna try. You?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe round 2. Ooh, got you there. All right, then, be easy, homeboy. Like Sunday morning.
Can the path be taken from the mighty, or the captives of the tyrants rescued?
Now what that means is, can we, the lost tribe of Israel, reclaim what is rightfully ours from the cave-dwelling white devils that raped our ancestors, stole our land, and dispersed the true children of God across the globe? Read.
Hey! I ain't no devil. This is not the words of Jesus Christ.
Shut your mouth, cave bitch! Yes, you are a cave bitch. Do you know what Jesus Christ called the white woman in the Bible? The female dog. And what is a female dog? Don't be afraid to say it, brother, that's right. A bitch. That's what Jesus Christ called you in the Bible.
How come you're using the King James Bible?
What?
Well, why that edition? I thought King James was a white devil.
This is King James right here. Take a good look. He looks like Billy D. Williams, if you ask me.
If you say so, brother.
Now you may ask, how did the lost tribe of Israel become lost? Well, I'll tell you.
The book of Jacob, James, chapter 3, verses 8 through 12. But no man is able to tame the tongue. It is unruly, evil, filled with deadly poison. With it we bless our Elohim and Father, and with it we curse men who have been made in the likeness of Elohim. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brothers, this should not be so. Does the fountain send forth the sweet and the bitter from the same opening? My brothers, is a fig tree able to bear olives, or a grapevine figs? So neither is a fountain able to make salt and sweet water. Our enemies are looking for every opportunity to demonize us. So let us be wise with our words and with our actions. The beast system is a technology-based economic control system. It is the synagogue of Satan who are currently in control of the world economy through the modern banking system. They are planning to build the third temple in Jerusalem and have already minted temple tax coins with the images of U.S. President Trump and of King Cyrus on them. They will require everyone to receive the mark and worship their false messiah, or otherwise you will not be able to buy and sell once their one world government emerges. The book of Hazon, Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. See, I'm giving up those of the congregation of Satan who say that they are Yahudim and are not, but lie. See, I'm making them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verses 10 through 11. Because you have said, these two nations and these two lands are mine, and we shall possess them, although Yahuwah was there. Therefore, as I live, declares the Master Yahuwah, I shall do according to your displeasure, and according to your envy which you showed in your hatred against them. And I shall make myself known among them when I judge you. There is only one true Yasharal. The liars have stolen our identity and have stolen our land. So where does your support lay?